it could turn criminal really fast. They're just using the civil suit to knock down a lot of your money. I'm seeing this happen with a lot of rappers, a lot of athletes, and people are not paying attention to that.
Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine.
It turns out the Shannon Sharpe situation may be far more serious than initially believed. Mase recently joined the conversation and appears convinced that Shannon could actually be facing jail time. According to Mase, this civil lawsuit is just the beginning of strategy to deplete Shannon's financial resources so he's unable to hire top-tier legal representation when the real threat emerges, a criminal trial. Mase might not be far off. More alleged victims are now coming forward, each one presenting new and increasingly troubling claims against Shannon. If this continues, Shannon could stand to lose everything he's built over the years. No more ESPN collaborations, no more podcast appearances, no more TV features, and no more young fans affectionately calling him unseat. So the question now is, could Shannon be getting set up? And where are these new accusers suddenly coming from? Let's break it down.
You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be, don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm going to choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Everyone seems to be weighing in on the Shannon Sharpe controversy. While some are defending him, others are strongly critical. But according to Mase, the civil case might not even be the biggest issue. He believes a more serious criminal case could be quietly developing behind the scenes. During a recent episode of the It Is What It Is podcast with Cameron, Mase shared his unfiltered thoughts. One of his first questions was why nobody advised Shannon against offering his accuser $10 million. As Mase pointed out, regardless of the intentions, offering a large sum of money in the face of such serious allegations gives the impression of guilt, and that's a hard look to defend.
You know, this is what I'm getting at. And for him to offer $10 million says that there might be some truth to this, because I'm not offering nobody no $10 million if I know I didn't do anything. And I think the only reason that $10 million didn't work, Killer, I want to know how you feel about this. I think the $10 million didn't work because the pimp need his cut. You know, just allegedly. I'm not saying there is a pimp, right? Let me give you. It's just an idea. This is just an idea, right? So if there's a pimp, right? Why y'all keep laughing at?
But that wasn't the end of Mase's take. He added a twist to the situation that might have sounded humorous at first, but turns unsettling on closer inspection. According to Mase, the fact that Shannon's accuser still went ahead with legal action even after being offered such a significant amount of money is telling and possibly suspicious.
Him right there, for real? Yeah, that for a lot of money. You know how guys be, and they pushed her on her, and then she said 10. He was like, 10 is my 10. You gotta put in your number for yourself. That don't have nothing to do with mine. 10 is mine. That's what we discussed. I'm just telling you.
For context, the woman accusing Shannon is listed as Jane Doe in court documents. However, online sleuths believe she is Gabriela Zuniga, a 21-year-old OnlyFans model who goes by Gabby. Her allegations are serious. Gabby says she met Shannon at a gym in Los Angeles when she was 19 and he was around 54. Shannon allegedly pursued her and they began a relationship, but Gabby claims it wasn't a loving relationship. She accuses Shannon of being controlling and manipulative, insisting she be available to him at all times and constantly monitoring her whereabouts. Things reportedly escalated after a public scandal involving Shannon last year when he accidentally went live on Instagram while in bed with another woman. Gabby says she was deeply humiliated and tried to end things. However, Shannon allegedly refused to accept the breakup. She claims he convinced her to let him come over to talk things through. But once there, he became violent. According to the court filing, he assaulted her despite her crying and pleading for him to stop. And it didn't end there. In January 2025, Shannon allegedly visited Gabby's home again, saying he wanted to bring her some gifts. However, once there, she claims he assaulted her again. According to the lawsuit, he didn't use protection, even though she reportedly asked him to multiple times. Additionally, she alleges that he violated her anally without her consent. Following the incident, Gabby supposedly sent him a text message stating, "But I cried when you left because I begged you to use a condom and not go MIA, and you didn't listen. I don't care what our past is, no means no." Not long after the lawsuit went public, Shannon's attorney released several text messages from Gabby that were adult-themed. One message from October 7th, 2023 read, "I want you to put a dog collar around my neck and choke me while you're effing me." Another message, sent on January 1st, 2005, just days before the second alleged assault, said, "I know you missed this big juicy butt, $25,000 for each cheek." The implication was that she was being provocative and consensual, but it raised eyebrows. The messages didn't stop there. One read, "Only if you put that baby gravy in me, then I can do whatever I want to me." Another said, "I want to lick your A and then marry you. That's my daddy." And one even said, "I want you to put a big black baby in me. You better want it too, because once you do, you're stuck with it for life." It's unclear what Shannon's legal team hoped to achieve by sharing these texts. If anything, the release only fueled public concern and further complicated the case, but things escalated even more. Gabby's lawyer, Tony Busby, released audio recordings that seem to incriminate Shannon further. In one clip, Shannon is heard threatening to choke Gabby and telling her she doesn't have a choice in the matter.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What does that even mean?
Nothing, Gabby. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
That recording was already disturbing, but a second audio clip was released that appeared to confirm Shannon's willingness to use physical force. However, some people have started to speculate that these audio files may have been edited to paint Shannon in a negative light. There's also growing chatter suggesting that this case might involve more than just the personal dynamics between Shannon and Gabby. This is partly why Mase questioned why Gabby would turn down a $10 million settlement. Realistically, that's not an unreasonable amount to accept in a case that will likely be difficult to prove. In civil court, it's often easier to portray a young adult model as someone driven by money, potentially trying to take down a prominent figure for financial gain.so. When Gabby rejected the settlement, May suggested there might be more going on behind the scenes. He speculated that other parties could be influencing her decision, people who may also want a share of any settlement money. Mase even joked that all of this might be happening because Shannon was rumored to be finalizing a new $100 million deal for his podcast projects. While the comment was made in jest, it sparked real discussion in the comment section, with many beginning to wonder was Shannon possibly being set up.
We pray all of this is like a fallacy or some kind of hoax or something like this, because he was about to get a bunch of money. And you know, when you're about to get a bunch of money, people that hate on you just wait until you're about to get that money and rain on your parade. But we can't say that. And that's why I wanted to say it, to get Stats' opinion. I knew when I said that she was gonna go, yeah. No, you can't be on your way to 100 million. I keep telling Killer, right? And niggas picking these kind of girls. You can't do that. We talked about this with Ant-Man. We talked about this with several players. You just can't do that. You about to get 100 million. You can't throw it away for IG model. Is she an IG model?
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans. How does that work?
She got her separate account and she do her thing on there and people pay.
But that wasn't the end of it. Mase went on to say that Shannon may have fallen into a common trap that some men face when public allegations begin surfacing. According to Mase, this initial lawsuit might just be a setup to get Shannon emotionally reactive and financially drained before a more serious legal battle begins. He even compared Shannon's current situation to what Diddy is reportedly going through: first a civil lawsuit, then more civil filings, and eventually potential federal charges.
We also got to start paying attention, fellas, when they're telling you it's a civil suit. Don't feel like that's just a civil suit. If it's civil suit, but it's something criminal, it could turn criminal really fast. They're just using the civil suit to knock down a lot of your money. I'm seeing this happen with a lot of rappers, a lot of athletes, and people are not paying attention to that. Another way that people are just green to the streets, you know, that's just one entity trying to walk away some of your money, so that when they double back and say, well, this was you did this over here, because 9 times out of 10, if one girl say something, then somebody else gonna come say something, because they're like, people are getting paid, and people are getting paid for nothing. And I really got some issues, or they may really have a text or really have a message, and it's like, I don't know what to do or what to tell fellas now.
Of course, no one is suggesting that these men were forced into the actions they're being accused of. This isn't an attempt to paint them as victims. But if what's being said out there is true, Shannon Sharpe could be heading into a serious downward spiral. And now the speculation isn't just confined to social media posts or online forums. It's starting to spill over into the real world. The Gabby lawsuit was already serious, but now it appears Shannon might have even more to answer for, as older allegations and past behavior are coming to light. We all know how relentless online investigators can be. Once they latch onto a case, they can dig up things even the authorities may overlook. When the lawsuit against Shannon started trending, these internet sleuths began combing through his history, looking for patterns or past incidents that might align with the current claims, and they found some concerning things. One of the stories that resurfaced involved Shannon allegedly choking a female employee during his time as a co-host on FS1's Undisputed. According to sources close to the matter, Shannon was accused of assaulting a production assistant at the workplace. While no formal lawsuit was filed, insiders say that Shannon and Fox settled the matter quietly for several $100,000. Allegedly, both Fox and Shannon's legal team made a strong effort to keep the situation under wraps, but the story eventually leaked online. Oddly enough, despite how serious the accusation is, there's barely any trace of it online today. Still, as most people know, once something hits the internet, it's nearly impossible to erase completely. When Shannon's team saw that the choking allegation was gaining attention, they quickly responded with a statement. They denied that any such incident occurred on the FS1 set. According to the statement, Shannon and a few colleagues were once involved in what was described as light physical interaction in a playful context. Fox Sports reportedly chose to resolve the matter privately. However, that explanation raised questions. What exactly does light physical interaction in a playful context mean? And why would something like that require a private settlement involving significant money, especially if choking was never part of the situation? As it turns out, that might not be the only questionable incident in Shannon's past. Another case involving Shannon has recently resurfaced, this time from his ex, Michelle Evans. Michelle originally filed a defamation lawsuit against Shannon in 2023, shortly after obtaining a restraining order against him. In her complaint, Michelle claimed they had been in a relationship for nearly 10 years, which ended in September 2010 after an argument sparked by her confronting him about alleged infidelity. According to Michelle, that argument escalated. She accused Shannon of becoming violent and forcing her to perform intimate actos, followed by an alleged assault where he told her he would ensure no other man would ever want her. Interestingly, that same phrase appears in Gabby's allegations. She claimed that in October 2024, when Shannon came to her apartment following an attempted breakup, he forced her to perform intimate actos while telling her, "You disrespected me so much. I'm going to punish this A. I'm going to make it so no man will want you again." She further alleged that he then assaulted her anally and, during the act, said, "Look at my arm. I've got chills. That's how good this is," while she cried and sobbed uncontrollably. Back to Michelle's claims, she stated that Shannon's behavior turned increasingly aggressive after the incident. He allegedly made threats to destroy her reputation if she ever spoke out, frequently called and harassed her, and even stalked her, often reminding her that he was keeping an eye on her. These ongoing threats, she said, led her to seek a restraining order, after Michelle's case resurfaced, Shannon's legal team issued a strong response. They dismissed her claims, accusing her of jumping on what they described as the Shannon hate train in pursuit of money. They labeled the lawsuit as outdated, exaggerated, and a deliberate distortion of events. The statement added that her accusations were without merit and that Shannon fully denies any wrongdoing. His team emphasized that he intends to defend himself against what they described as malicious and baseless accusations. Shannon also rejected Gabby's claims, referring to her lawsuit as nothing more than a shakedown.
This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about.
Despite everything, the conversation isn't dying down, and it seems Shannon is beginning to understand just how serious the situation might be. There's a growing sense that he could be facing actual jail time if things continue in this direction. But what do you think? Will Shannon end up being formally charged, or is this something that might fade away in a few weeks? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to check